Greetings to everyone. Good day. And we are the Group 2 in reporting of sustainable tourism in Chapter 3, which entitled Ecotourism, and introducing the reporters Nina May Hermosilla, Cindy Arabis, Claire Ann Robio, and Nellie May Brillo. So, our topic for today is all about ecotourism. So, ecotourism is defined in so many ways and so many words to emphasize that it involves the following: travel, admiration, enjoyment, conservation, planning, organizing, implementing, managing, policy formulation, linkaging or collaboration, socio-cultural and socio-economic concerns, marketing and promotion, and among others. Some of organization state that ecotourism involves traveling to relatively undisturbed natural areas to specifically study, admire, and enjoy the scenery and its wild plants and animals, as well as any existing cultural aspect found in those areas. More so, the Ecotourism Society defines it as a purposeful travel to natural areas to understand the culture and natural history of the environment, taking care not to alter the integrity of the ecosystem while producing economic opportunities that make the conservation of natural resources beneficial to local people. On the other hand, the Haribon Foundation viewed ecotourism as one that has maximum economic benefits but with minimum environmental and social impact. Introduction of ecotourism. According to the International Ecotourism Society or TIES, ecotourism can be defined as responsible travel to natural areas that conserve the environment, sustains the well-being of the local people, and involves interpretation and education. Such traveling can be created thanks to an international network of individuals, institutions, and tourism professionals are educated on ecological issues. So, in other terms, ecotourism is a form of tourism involving visiting fragile, pristine, and relatively undisturbed natural areas, intended as a low impact and often small scale alternative to standard commercial or mass tourism. Its purpose may be to educate the traveler, to provide funds for ecological conservation, to directly benefit the economic development and political empowerment of local communities. Ecotourism, a subset of nature based tourism. The role of sustainable nature-based tourism, are also called ecotourism, in conserving biodiversity is paramount given that tourism and nature are intricately linked. The Philippines, by virtue of its ratification of the Convention on Biological Diversity, has a legal obligation to halt biodiversity loss. One of the conservation measures that has been suggested as being pragmatic and effective in pursuing this conservation commitment is sustainable nature-based tourism, in which ecotourism is a form of responsible tourism which strives to achieve certain goals, traveling to natural parks and landmarks, minimizing damages caused by conventional tourism, providing financial benefits to local businesses, and building environmental awareness, empowering local communities and their culture, and supporting civil rights are also a big part of responsible traveling. And so, as tourism gradually reopens, the demand for nature-based tourism is likely to increase as people look for safer alternatives in selecting destinations to visit. This said, the Department of Tourism or DOT is ramping up its efforts to develop new tourism products that would cater to the travelers' preferences amid the pandemic. And just recently, the Philippines was recognized as the world's leading dive destination, beating top dive spots such as Azores Islands, Bora Bora, French Polynesia, Cayman Islands, Fiji, Galapagos Islands, Great Barrier, and many more. And aside from its promising sights underwater, the country also offers idyllic resort islands including Palawan, Boracay, and Siargao Island, which was recently cited as one of the best 2021 holiday destinations by Condé Nast Traveler. Because of ecotourism provides and contains a wide range of activities, many destinations in the Philippines are getting more eco-friendly with the guidance of the DOT. You'll find a growing number of destinations which are clean, environmental-minded, offer great tours in nature and green amenities. Also, there are many places where the indigenous culture is still prevalent, giving you a unique peep into the depth of Filipino culture.
What is ecotourism as a form of sustainable tourism? Ecotourism is a form of sustainable tourism. All forms of tourism can be more sustainable, but not all forms of tourism can be ecotourism. Ecotourism is a subcomponent of the field of sustainable tourism. They perceive ecotourism potential as an effective tool for sustainable development. This is the main reason why developing countries are now embracing it and including it in their economic development and conservation strategies. And when we say ecotourism, this is alternative tourism that involves visiting natural areas in order to learn, to study, or to carry out activities environmentally friendly. This is a type of tourism that based on the nature experience that it focuses primarily on experiencing and learning about nature, its landscape, flora, fauna, and their habitats, as well as cultural artifacts which enables to economic and social development of local community. Now, let's proceed to the principles of ecotourism. So what are the principles of ecotourism? In ecotourism, it is about uniting conservation, communities, and sustainable travel. This means that those who implement, participate in, and market ecotourism activities should adopt the following ecotourism principles. Now, let's proceed to the principles of ecotourism. So what are the principles of ecotourism? In ecotourism, it is about uniting conservation, communities, and sustainable travel. This means that those who implement, participate in, and market ecotourism activities should adopt the following ecotourism principles. Minimize physical, social, behavioral, and psychological impacts. It means that ecotourism helps to protect the natural habitats and environment. It allows the communities to build their economies without harming the environment, and the local wildlife can thrive, and visitors can enjoy without untouched the destinations. Second, build environmental and cultural awareness and respect. Through our Heritage Tour Guide, they will help you to understand and practice good local manners and teach to fill out the culture gap with effective communication skills. Example of this is respect the local people such as Igorot. You should ask their approval first before taking photographs because that is showing disrespect for them. Next, provide positive experiences for the visitors and hosts. This is important because they always said that first impressions last. So you should make your visitor feel comfortable by putting a smile on their face and greet them warmly. Give the satisfaction that they need. Next, provide direct financial benefits for conservation. Ecotourism helps to raise funds for environmental protection, research, and education through the variety of mechanisms, including park entrance fees, tour company, hotel, airline, airport taxes, and voluntary contributions.
Good morning, everyone. I will discuss about the ecotourist and the categories of ecotourist. So, what is ecotourist? Ecotourist is someone who visits a place on a vacation that gives people the chance to learn about natural environment and causes a little damage to the environment as possible. A person who goes on an organized holiday that is designed so that the tourist damages the environment as little as possible, especially when some of the money they pay is used to protect the local environment and animals. So generally, we can say that ecotourist is a mature, educated tourists who are willing to pay a higher price for their trips. So we can also define ecotourist as someone who saw wildlife in its natural surroundings, stay in the wilderness, visited a rainforest or jungle, visited natural parks, walked in untouched countryside and natural environment, watched bird or animals campaign. So let's proceed to the three types of ecotourism, which is hard ecotourism, soft ecotourism, and adventure ecotourism. Hard ecotourism is motivated primarily by a scientific interest in natural surroundings, wildlife, and biodiversity, and is interested in bird watching, nature photography, and botanical trips. Sometimes they will take in activities that require strenuous efforts and non-hotel accommodation. However, they are demanding more amenities at hotel and resort, driving up the price. An example of hard ecotourism will be sleeping at an eco-friendly campsite. And the second type of ecotourism is soft or general ecotourism, which also revolves around a curiosity about nature take a somewhat less intense approach. They are the fastest growing segment. This type is interested in observing wildlife and participating in local culture. Hiking is a favorite activity and they are less intense than the hard ecotourists. So let's proceed to the next type, which is also the last type of ecotourists. If you are the person who likes activities such as surfing, scuba diving, snorkeling, windsurfing, whitewater rafting, and sport fishing, then you are part of the third type of ecotourist, which is adventure ecotourist. This type of ecotourist is engaged in moderate to high-risk activities. These types are the adrenaline all or nothing types looking for a challenge. Although adventure ecotourism may also involve camping and hiking, a greater emphasis is placed on extreme sports that use the natural environment as a medium. There is also an appreciation for the health of the ecosystem and its surrounding people. To the categories of ecotourism. There are four categories of ecotourism, which is ecolodging, agrotourism, community development, and ecotour or ecoturks. So first, ecolodging involves accommodation that have been built with environmental awareness and consciousness or that are simply in natural setting. Ecolodging refers to a type of accommodation located in a remote destination in nature. Generally, ecolodges are equipped with less than 30 rooms. They are designed to have minimal impact on the environment and to be as sustainable as possible in their usage of resources. So the next category of ecotourism is agrotourism. Agrotourism is a type of ecotourism that capitalizes on rural farm communities as tourist attraction. Some agrotourism venues serve to encourage and protect threatened agrarian communities in disadvantaged countries. The ecotourists can work with the communities to provide sustainable help or to learn about the sustainable farming methods of the specific region. And the third type of categories of ecotourists is community development. Community development, some ecotourism opportunities focus on protecting the land and livelihood of communities threatened by industry, deforestation, and other byproducts of modernization, such as organization offer opportunities for ecotourists to interact with the local population by planting trees, learning local trades, or building homes. The process of community development is important for ecotourism because many local communities have turned to tourism development, provide economic, social, cultural, and overall development of the community. So now let's proceed to the last category of ecotourists, which is ecotour or ecoturks. Ecoturks involve excursion to exotic, endangered, or otherwise appealing location. Taking part in excursion to exotic or endangered areas to increase awareness of the region and support conservation. Ecoturks might include rafting, rock climbing, swimming, caving, hiking, sailing, or bird watching for the purpose of increasing awareness about a particular region and its associated environmental threats or habitats worth preserving.
Tourism versus mass tourism. When compared to mass tourism, ecotourism have a better probability of setting natural action in most cases. Ecotourism includes tourists making their own travel arrangement when it comes to the different services. Ecotourism has a limited exploring thrills, bird watching or reef diving, and thus are more physical demanding, whereas traditional tourism is more comfortable and less physical. Furthermore, ecotourism travelers frequently travel in small groups and stay for an extended period of time. And mass tourism releases a larger number of travel agents and tour operators. Others are expected that mass tourism will include a wide range of services. Large groups are frequently required to stay for a short period of time. Tourists taking a variety of distractions such as culture, landmarks, and hustle-bustle large cities.
Since the 1980s, ecotourism has been considered a critical endeavor by environmentalists so that future generations may experience destinations relatively untouched by human intervention. In generally, ecotourism deals with living parts of the natural environments. Ecotourism focuses on socially responsible travel, personal growth, and environmental sustainability. And ecotourism typically involves travel to destinations where flora, fauna, and cultural heritage are primary attractions. So, ecotourism is intended to offer tourists insight into the impact of human beings on the environment and to foster a greater appreciation of our natural habitats.